we read before. So frustrating to see you play games with the law. You said he's silencing you. How is he doing that? You're the one with the black boxes. I read your violin and all I can say is lightly redacted, redacted, redacted. But don't it redacted, redacted, redacted. He's redacted, redacted, redacted. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hey Kelsey, I'm doing all right. Hey Notorious Raven. Ooh, drop some info on your Etsy.
How is he doing that? You're the one with the black boxes. I read your violin and all I can say is lightly redacted, redacted, redacted. But don't he redacted, redacted, redacted. He redacted, redacted, redacted. La 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 la. La 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 la.
If you all see that in the chat, that's Notorious Raven's Etsy right now. For those that are going to watch it on YouTube, it's atsaxan.etsy.com. So atsaxan. Hi, Jax. Ronnie, am I more rested? I mean, yes. I actually had 6 hours of sleep, which is always a good thing for me. Hi, Brown Eyes 114. So, y'alls, I was supposed to do a live with the House of Chatter podcast over on YouTube at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We tried. We need to have it rescheduled. And the reason is, over where we're at, thankfully right now my internet is fine, but hers was going awry. And so I couldn't hear her. It was incredibly choppy. And so we're like, we'll try again. Because it did not work out for this time, which I felt so bad. But sometimes that's happened. I'm not near the flooding. Though there are just pockets always that just kind of doesn't have really good drainage at all. Thank you, Brown Eyes, for the gift. And Mama Panda as well. Indigo said, love the beat. Hi. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the beat of the song. And so that song was redacted. Mama Panda said, there's flooding. Is everyone okay? Yeah, there's sections of Washington State that's experiencing some flooding right now. Brown Eyes 114 said, love the beat. I love that. Nay said, hi, how was your day? My day has gone well. So usually my work schedule has always been... Well, not always. I've switched it back and forth many different times. So usually my work hours are from 7 to 5. But I've switched it to 8 to 6. Just because sometimes, like, I'm such a morning person. And then sometimes I get so into what I'm reading in regards to the case that I'm like, oh my word, I'm just gonna start thinking about stuff. And so I actually, because this is so impromptu, because I was in my mindset thinking I was going to do the House of Chatter podcast. The thing that I actually want to discuss is the 56.1 response. Because, unless, Ellsridge or Carol arrives and they want to do the rest of Jamie Heath's deposition, we can do that too. But I wanted to do the 56.1 response, because she starts putting out some facts, and the facts are very interesting. Let's see here. Saucy Nugget says, yes, feels like a river out here. Oh, are you experiencing flooding there then, Saucy? Mama said, oh no, I hope it ends soon, especially during the holidays. Indigo says 7 to 5. That's more than 8 hours. Do you work 4 days? I don't, but I take an hour lunch. Oh, but either way, you're like, okay, no, but I do a 980. So I have every other Monday off. So on Mondays, I will be working 8 to 5. And then Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I work 8 to 6. Legally Latina said, are they officially going to settle? They are not I do not believe they're going to settle. Legally Latina. I do not think that there is anything that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds can offer them at this point where they would settle. It's not about money. And whatever Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively need to do, I don't think they have the emotional bandwidth or the emotional capability to do. Mama Panda said, we have an 86-degree day here. Oh, dang. Okay. Hi, Sandy. Nate said, I didn't get to check back to see if Alicia ever commented back on your post. Yeah, I know that Alicia liked the post. Now, I heard, like, there was an individual that was trying to give me information about, like, why he thought it meant nothing with the producer situation. I don't know enough. So I was hoping that Alicia could give some insight on that. But the biggest insight that Alicia gave me was just liking the post or liking the video. So I didn't know if liking the video meant she liked what I said or if she liked it to be able to refer to it later. So when she had time to give insight, she would. I'm not quite sure. Bruce Bay said it's raining in Washington. Yes, definitely is. Indigo said nice. Sandy said working from home now, so I'm reporting for duty. Thanks, Sandy. Legally said what? So Latina said, so what's the settlement hearing for? I guess it's part of regular protocol. Everybody has to go through it. I don't think it's going to get very far. Nay said, after this Taylor Rolling Stone article, there's no way. Yeah, now I haven't read this Rolling Stone article. People have reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do a video around this? It's just I haven't had a chance to look at it. But I think from what I've heard from there's enough content creators that have been doing stuff on it. So I don't know if I necessarily have anything additional to add to what people are already saying around it. Olympus _ God said, how could they trust their settlement agreement? Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if there's any settlement that would ever be something they would ever agree to. Brown Eyes 114 said their egos won't let them settle. Yeah, and I don't think, again, like the things that the Wayfarer parties most likely would require of them, I don't think they'd be willing to do. Nay said the disinformation is staggering. You know what's wild, Nay? Literally, I don't know if y'all are feeling it or experiencing it. I just did a video on it. But there is a heavy push right now to try to say, like, the narrative has changed. Now, Blake Lively has tried to do this stuff before, where, like, for a smidgen of time, it's like, ooh, I'm getting slammed by all of these, like, pro-Lively people. But it's just, it's whenever that happens, I'm like, there is probably something big that's going to come down. And I don't know if it's the Rule 11 thing that's coming out, because they're supposed to respond to the opposition of, I think it was the opposition of Wayfarer around that, which y'all's when they said that Ryan Reynolds wanted to re-enter the chat, you know, and Wayfarer was like, oh, we're ready with some proof that, like, you did some stuff, okay, that this was not just an empty lawsuit. Thank you, Sandy, for the gift. And I was saying to folks, am I a bad person if I kind of want the judge to let them add the stuff for Rule 11? Because if they add the stuff for Rule 11, then Wayfarer can come back with their proof. And so I just didn't know if Ryan Reynolds was like, never mind, because I don't think he wants that proof out there. So it's going to be really interesting what they say, because whatever they say, Wayfarer, I think, can come back with potentially something that maybe Ryan Reynolds does not want out there. And so a part of me goes, maybe this is why there's such a heavy push right now for all this Blake Lively, pro-Blake Lively. Like, they're coming out of the woodworks, and I don't know who in the world they are. And so whenever there's just that heavy of a push, it doesn't feel real. Obviously, they thought the Justin Baldoni support wasn't feeling real, but the reason I'm saying that it doesn't feel real, all this stuff that's coming out for Blake Lively right now, is not because people are coming out for Blake Lively. It's because they have almost the same scripting. Literally, it's like, when you see ads for people, from people about like products, and they use the same scripting, and you're like, oh my word, we know that you got the script because everybody's using the same script to sell the product. The product is Blake Lively's innocence. And they're reading off some sort of script. And that's why it feels fake, Mama Panda says summer is kicking in. LOL. Definitely not here. So, Mama. Hi, Britt. Madeline said the settlement hearing is part of the process. The judge is required, I believe, to ask them for it. Gio said, how did Gudia piece even end up in a Rolling Stone? Penske? Who knows? That's a deep dive. So, Katie, sorry, I told you it was going to be on YouTube, and what had happened is the weather was not great. And so the House of Chatter podcast was having an incredibly difficult time with their audio. And so I said, let's reschedule. Thank you, Gio, for the gift. So that's the reason. So hopefully we can, not hopefully, we will reschedule. I just don't know when. It was unexpected. The weather's been wild. And hopefully she's going to be okay. Thankfully, I'm not in that line of like flooding. But hopefully she'll be all right. I think she was experiencing like internet issues, understandably. Olympus_the gods, I'm the underscore god, said, will she find a way to push the ceiling again? I think that if she pushes it, the judge will not be happy. The judge has made it very, very clear that the public has the right to know. And so I think if she pushes for ceiling that is beyond what is reasonable, which is like private information, like phone numbers and addresses and things of that nature, there should be nothing that should be redacted to that level. Nay said, I wonder if Brett used that data in the suit instead of Tarakeet. I wonder if Brett used that data in the suit instead of Tarakeet. If Brett used that data in the suit instead of Tarakeet. The interesting thing about Blake Lively is she has never verbalized where her data came from. The only reason we assume that the data came from Tarakeet is because of the New York Times article. The New York Times article is the only one that mentions Tarakeet. The lawsuit, the complaint itself does not say we went to Tarakeet to get these graphs. Mount Olympus 88 said there was an explosion of bots on all platforms. Yeah, they're working overtime. Mama Panda said, I meant Blake, but type Brit, LOL. Okay, nay, that makes more sense because I was like, Brit did? Brit on the mind, I guess, huh? Mama Panda said the Blake Cats are out in force. Me and Mount Olympus 88 have been having fun, LOL. Katie said, by the way, Bocce is the real deal and good people. I'm nobody and she sends me support, love, it didn't continue. But thanks for saying that, Katie. Appreciate it. Sarah said, I want them to add everything because I want to see it. Me too. Inquiring minds want to know, and my mind is inquiring. Excellent Quad said, I have been getting lots of replies to my comments that are pro Blake, trying to correct me. Yeah, they're working heavy. Because here's the thing. This is the pattern of a Blake Lively actual support. When things are going right for Blake Lively, then her people, her real people, come out of the woodworks and say, I knew it. I supported Blake all along. The way they come out is very different when it's her real support. Okay. Thank you, Gio, for the gift. The way that they come out for her when it's real support is very, very different. Versus like when it's coming out when something bad is coming out. The push is different. And the way this push is happening, something bad's coming out. Like it just has to. Because it's too unnatural. Was how it's being pushed out right now. Britt said, well, I just got confused with Blake. I'm going to exit the internet forever. Oh, I know. Isn't it offense? It feels like you can't help but feel offended when you get called a Blake. Ugh. It's like the worst insult. Blake, being called Blake, like, supersedes Karen now. Like Karens are finally going to be free because nobody wants to be a Blake. Sarah said, I want everyone to get hacked and all the tea to flood the internet. LMAO. I don't know. Like, you know, when people talk about like a superpower, like what superpower do you want to have? And when people say they want to read people's minds, I'm like, no, thank you. That's the thing I would never, ever, ever want to know. And sometimes tea is like that too. Like sometimes like I want to know the tea, but like just the fun tea, not the harmful tea, the destructive tea. I just like the fun tea. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I would never want to know what people think. I don't want to know what people think now. Like if it's not positive, like keep it to yourself. Like I always say, like people's opinion or negative opinion at least is none of my business. Like there are folks that will like speak hard truths to me and I can receive it because their intention with me is good. New filing. Red alarm, new filing. All right. Is it the Rule 11? Is it the Rule 11? Is that what's happening? It is the Rule 11. 4 pages. That's it. Okay, let's read this. Response to Rule 11. Okay. December 11, 2025. Dear Judge Lyman, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the Lively Reynolds parties, respectfully submit this reply in further support of their letter motion to lodge supplemental material in support of their pending motions for sanctions pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11. None of the Rule 11 plaintiffs' arguments in the responsive letters provide any valid basis for the court to ignore the Lively Reynolds parties' supplement material in support of the Rule 11 motions. To the contrary, the primary purpose of the submissions appear to have been to serve as a vehicle for filing Mr. Reynolds' text messages on the public docket, none of which have anything to do with the supplemental material Lively Reynolds offered exclusively with respect to Sarwitz and Abel. The responsive letters offer no conceivable basis for either Sarwitz or Abel in their individual capacities to have sued Miss Lively or Mr. Reynolds for anything, and rather merely offer excuses for Sarwitz and Abel's undisputed testimony that the Rule 11 plaintiffs admit corroborates the Lively Reynolds parties' Rule 11 arguments against them. So, does that mean that when they did do their opposition, they already attached Ryan Reynolds' text messages on there? Were they already on there? Is that what happened? Am I missing that? Because, that's the tea I'm looking for. First, the Rule 11 plaintiffs cannot dispute that their counsel, and at least Sarwitz and Abel, filed and maintained claims against the Lively Reynolds parties that were objectively baseless. By attempting to denigrate the proposed supplemental evidence as merely corroborating evidence already submitted in support of the original Rule 11 motions. Docket number 1079 at 1, the Rule 11 plaintiffs confirm what the Lively Reynolds parties have already shown, that Sarwitz, Abel, and their counsel asserted claims against the Lively Reynolds parties with no arguable basis in law or fact. The Lively Reynolds parties are happy to agree that the supplemental evidence is merely corroborative, in the sense that it is not necessary but rather helpful for the court to consider in order to grant all the relief requested in the Rule 11 motions. But the Rule 11 plaintiffs' opposition to the court's consideration of that evidence is meritless nonetheless. For example, The Rule 11 plaintiffs argue that Abel and Sorowitz's testimony should be disregarded because corroborating testimony is supposedly not proper to supplement previously submitted evidence. But that misstates the import of joint stock company, which involved and rejected a request to reopen and expand the scope of an already decided Rule 11 motion beyond the scope of the Rule 11 notice that had been served on the non-moving party. Contrary to the Rule 11 plaintiff's description, that case did not hold that it is improper to supplement a pending Rule 11 motion with evidence that corroborates Rule 11 violations within the scope of the served notice. And as the Rule 11 plaintiffs concede, nothing in the rule or the advisory committee notes, permits, or proscribes supplemental evidence or submissions. Second, the Rule 11 plaintiff's truncated quotation from the 1983 Advisory Committee notes conceals the reason for that general practice that discovery in aid of Rule 11 motions is not the norm. In the excised part of the relevant paragraph, the committee explained that discovery is normally inappropriate because to assure that the efficiencies achieved through more effective operation of the pleading regimen will not be offset by the cost of satellite litigation over the imposition of sanctions, the court must, to the extent possible, limit the scope of sanction proceedings to the record. Where the evidence at issue was developed through discovery on Miss Lively's affirmative claims in the consolidated related case, that concern is non-existent. Realizing this, the Rule 11 plaintiffs argue that whether Abel or Sarowitz lacked proper grounds to assert the dismissed claims is irrelevant to Miss Lively's pending affirmative claims, and the only purpose of this line of deposition questioning was to obtain discovery to support Lively and Reynolds' Rule 11 motions. But that, too, is incorrect. Miss Lively alleges that Abel and Sarowitz participated in and furthered a conspiracy to retaliate against her for raising concerns about Baldoni and Heath's conduct by, among other things, joining a retaliatory lawsuit against her. As this court has made clear, the scope of permissible discovery is judged against the operative complaint as pleaded, not against the defendant's cram view of what they think Miss Lively should be allowed to learn in order to prove her claims. Third, the Rule 11 plaintiffs also make the surprising claim, irrelevant to the question whether the Lively Reynolds should be permitted to supplement the record, that they have satisfied Rule 11 by declining to amend their complaint after the court dismissed it. Although they admit that the claims were not dismissed within Rule 11's 21-day safe harbor period, nor were they ever actually withdrawn by the Rule 11 plaintiffs, the Rule 11 plaintiffs contend that they had every right to wait to see the court's rulings on the motions to dismiss before evaluating their compliance with Rule 11. That is flatly wrong. The time for compliance with Rule 11 is when the challenge pleading was filed, and the time to withdraw a challenge pleading is within the safe harbor period. The law is clear on this point. A party cannot, without a good faith basis, assert a claim, fail to undertake a reasonable inquiry into whether an evidentiary basis exists to support the allegations, and after discovery confirms the absence of such a basis, avoid Rule 11 sanctions by withdrawing the claim. As such, the Rule 11 plaintiffs' wait-and-see argument offers no excuse for their failure to comply with Rule 11. Had the Rule 11 plaintiffs wanted extra time, they could have sought an extension of the 21-day period under Rule 11C2. Otherwise, any argument that the 21-day safe harbor provision is too short and should be lengthened is best addressed to the Advisory Committee on Civil Rules. The existing period appears to strike a careful balance between the rights of those accused of sanctionable conduct and those who may be needlessly defending a baseless claim. Citing no authority, the Rule 11 plaintiffs go so far as to suggest that their decision not to amend the complaint is equivalent to a timely withdrawal under Rule 11C2. This argument is absurd on its face. They undisputedly did not timely withdraw or appropriately correct the challenge paper. Nor have they conclusively abandoned their claim because the time to appeal has not expired, and the Rule 11 plaintiffs have not waived their right to appeal. To the contrary, Their counsel has publicly stated that his clients chose not to amend their complaint to preserve appeal rights, elaborating that if you're familiar with standards of appeal, sometimes you don't do that because you have a better chance of winning on appeal based on a dismissal of the first complaint rather than a subsequent complaint that you might amend. In short, it offends the very purpose of Rule 11 for the Rule 11 plaintiffs to argue that Abel and Sarowit's voluntary decision to withdraw the claims, something they did not do, had precisely the same results sought by Lively and Reynolds' Rule 11 notice letters. Fourth, the Rule 11 plaintiffs protest that the cited testimony was given on the heels of attorney-client privilege objections and instructions not to respond with information learned exclusively through communications with counsel, and that Abel and Sarowitz attempted to respond based on their personal knowledge, struggling to respond without divulging attorney-client communications. This misses the point. As the Lively Reynolds parties previously made clear, had Sarowitz or Abel ever actually experienced extortionate threats from Miss Lively or Mr. Reynolds, they would not have had to learn about them from their lawyers. Finally, the Rule 11 plaintiffs assert once again that Rule 11 sanctions are not appropriate where there is good faith belief that discovery will yield evidence to support a claim. But they have failed to demonstrate any such good faith belief as to the challenged claims. Once again, they cite statements uncovered in discovery that they assert constitute evidence of defamation by Reynolds, albeit evidence they concede was not in their possession at the time of filing. First of all, the emergence of new evidence does not retroactively demonstrate good faith at the time of filing. If there was no objectively reasonable inquiry and no good faith basis for the allegation at the time of filing, then a party's not entitled to wait and see whether he or she might get lucky in discovery and find some support to retroactively bless the pre-complaint inquiry. But here, the Rule 11 plaintiffs did not even get lucky because the evidence they cite is irrelevant to the challenge claims. The cited evidence is irrelevant to the supplemental evidence submitted by Lively Reynolds related to Sarowitz and Abel, which claims were not, nor could have been based on alleged defamatory comments regarding Baldoni or Heath. So basically, you're admitting that you did say some defamatory stuff about Baldoni or Heath. You're like, that's why I'm only focusing on Sarowitz and Abel. That's it. Don't bring in the text messages where I'm disparaging Baldoni or Heath. I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about Sarowitz and Abel. That's just my side comment. Accordingly, the cited evidence is utterly irrelevant to the supplemental material. Yeah, that's basically telling me that they do okay, that told me that they do have text messages where he's doing some stuff against Baldoni and Heath. That's what it tells me. I don't know. Is it giving y'all that vibe? Because that's the vibe I'm getting. They made a whole huff. They kept italicizing and doing everything around the fact that we're only talking about Sarowitz and Abel. I didn't bring up Baldoni and Heath. I'm just talking about Sarowitz and Abel. I'm like, well, let's see the text about Baldoni and Heath then. Because you're saying, I don't care if, yeah, sure, you found something about Baldoni and Heath. What does that have to do with this Rule 11? So you admit it. That was a whole lot of huffing and puffing just to kind of admit that they got some text messages on you, didn't they? Didn't they, Ryan? I think they did. They got a little bit of something on you. Oh, let me see. Oh. Okay. Saucy says, show me the text and I'll have seen enough. Saucy, you always say you've seen enough, but how many times have you seen enough? Oh, I should have kept every single time you've said you've seen enough. Because I'm like, I don't think you have. Legally Latina said the minion hood of the traveling Blakenets. Blakenets? Mama said we can't see 980, but there's nothing in 1079. Deborah said, is this going to be a song bocce? You never know. Because I already wrote criminal. Somebody said make a song about how she was only on set on phase 1 for 16 days. Saucy Nugget says, your honor is the audacity that gets me. All in caps. I know. Bella said, but wait, there's more. Oh, is there more? Is there more than just that filing, or are you saying there's more in general? Okay, no. And what did they say again? They said, what filing is this? This is filing. Okay, so 1070, I want to see 1079. 1079. Okay. They just said they were going to come out with it. Yeah, they're trying to get ahead of it. Gio said 16 days is a good idea for a song. El Michelle L said, how are they going to play around like this on Beyonce's internet? Bella said, I mean, every time Saucy says, I've seen enough. Madeline said, Bella is being funny, hee hee. Mount Olympus 88, they're so predictable. They want to get ahead. Mama said there was the in-camera review stuff. Yeah, I don't recall what that was for. Okay. So I asked chat their thoughts on this particular filing. They said, this letter reads as highly defensive and strategically aggressive. The tone suggests that the Lively Reynolds side is less focused on the substance of Sarwitz and Abel's testimony and more focused on controlling what ends up on the public docket. The repeated insistence that the opposing side's filings were merely a vehicle to place Reynolds' text into the record stands out. That framing signals concern about exposure, not confidence. They repeatedly argue that the texts have nothing to do with the supplemental Rule 11 material. Yet, they do not say that the texts are fabricated, misattributed, or non-existent. They argue relevance, not authenticity. That distinction matters. The filing also attempts to recast discovery as improper motive-driven rather than probative. That usually happens when the content discovered is uncomfortable, but procedurally unavoidable. Procedurally unavoidable. Hopefully this is true. Britt can tell us if they're wrong. If Britt's still in the space. Do the Ryan Reynolds texts about Baldoni and Heath exist? Yes. This filing strongly implies that they do. That's the impression I got. Like, they blubbered a lot. And I'm like, they went on and on. I'm just talking about Sarwitz and Abel. And at the end, I'm like, so you're saying there is text messages. That's all I heard. Like, they spent a whole lot of words to try to say this is not relevant because we're only talking about. But you're saying there are texts. And it's not going to look good on you. I mean, that's all I heard. That's all I heard from their letter. That's all I heard from their letter. They're so scared. This is why the heavy push with their, like, all these, like random, like, content creators that are coming out. Yeah, they were bothered, Saucy. Like, they were trying so hard. They were so... Okay, so, yes, this filing strongly implies that they do. Several points support that conclusion. First, the letter explicitly states that the opposing submission served as a vehicle for filing Reynolds' text messages on the public docket, that it is an acknowledgement of their existence, not a denial. Second, there is no claim anywhere in the letter that the texts are inaccurate, forged, or taken out of context. If the text did not exist or were misrepresented, that would be the strongest and simplest argument. They do not make it. Third, the argument centers on relevance and scope. They say the texts have nothing to do with the supplemental evidence regarding Sarwitz and Abel. That argument only works if the texts are real but inconvenient. Fourth, the filing complains that the opposing side's purpose was to get the text onto the public docket. That complaint only makes sense if the content of those texts is damaging or embarrassing in some way. Both, please, both, please, both, please. Can it be both? Damaging and embarrassing? I wish 50 Cent was interested in this story, Legally Latina. Frankly, I feel like 50 Cent right now when he did a little jiggle with his he was a little kid in a cuz all the fruition. I'm sorry, Blake. No matter how many, I don't know how you're getting these content creators to suddenly say, "Oh my word, Blake has been proven right." The scripting that you gave them to say Blake has now been proven right. First and foremost, you tried that like months ago. That lasted all of 5 seconds. Okay, you cannot gaslight people. All right, you cannot gaslight people who have been watching this case like a hawk. Those videos work for casual viewers, and maybe that's what you're trying to get. You're trying to get casual viewers, but all it tells me is there's two kinds of things that happen when you are quote unquote winning, like legitimately winning in the court of public opinion. That's when your real supporters come out and try to talk their smack. Okay, how they talk their smack is very different than what we're seeing right now, which is a heavy push of a script. And whenever you bring out your scripted people, whenever you bring out your bots, whenever you do that, we know that something bad is going to come down the pipe. We know your MO at this point, okay? So whenever you do this, I get excited because I know you're trying to hide something. And it sounds like it's Ryan Reynolds' text. And I hope they do put it on the docket. I hope they do put it on the docket if they have not already. I mean, I don't know if it's sealed. So what this suggests strategically, this letter gives the impression that the Reynolds texts are real, already produced in discovery, and now uncontrollable in terms of public visibility. The fight is no longer about whether the messages exist. It is about whether the court should look at them and whether the public should have access to them. Yes, the public should have access to them. Please tell me we're going to have access to them. That is a defensive posture. Yells. Ryan Reynolds is so afraid. And if Ryan Reynolds is this afraid, it's got to be bad. He's got to be real bad. I think it's going to cut into his good guy persona. Because why is he why? Gio said, Gio, thank you for the gift. So Saucy said he really didn't need to re-enter the chat. He really didn't. He did, like, you know how Isabella's lawyer did that stupid, like, and then Wayfarer said, okay, Isabella can be out Isabella can be out if she wants, as long as it means that we're not going to, use her testimony. Nobody does. Thank you, Bailey Bear, for the gift. As long as nobody uses it, right? As long as nobody uses it. Now, I can't name, like, when I upload this to YouTube, I can't name anything Ryan Reynolds. He really, like, the last time I tried to put Ryan Reynolds as the name, it would not load for the longest time. I had to change the name. So, I'm not going to be surprised if he's going to do that again. So, I'm going to have to call this, like, Rule 11 text. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Call it nice. Oh, Ryan Reynolds, you are nervous. And when you're nervous, I know that it's gotta be bad. It's gotta be bad. It's gotta be something that you feel like is going to hit your reputation so horribly. Prickly Pear 87 said Gordon Reynolds. Yeah, he wishes he was Gordon Reynolds. He wants to hide away and pretend to be his imaginary brother. I mean, I guess he has brothers, but not the brother. Let's see. Oh my word, that was amazing. That, you know, I'm sure people thought it was a boring read, but when I finished reading it, I was like, So you're saying there are texts. That's all I could hear. That's all I could hear in that. Legally Latina said The Reckoning of Nice Pool, directed by 50 Cent. Not Here said, what are we reading? Well, what we read was Lively and Reynolds' response to the Rule 11 opposition that Wayfarer did. What people might have thought was a boring read was me just like, so you're telling me there's text messages about Baldoni and Heath out there that make Ryan Reynolds look real bad, and he doesn't want the public to see it, and I'm all for it. Like, bring it, Ryan. Let us see it all. Juanita said, can we recap? I just got here. I think I just did a recap. I'm not sure if you just heard what I just said, but thanks, Katie, for the gifts. Everybody's like, what did I miss? You know, it basically, I read the Rule 11 response, and thank you, Bailey, Bear, and See and Go for the gifts. And in it, they're basically saying all we wanted to do was to say that Sarwitz and Abel shouldn't, you know, like, basically sued me for no reason because it deserves sanctions, and Wayfarer is trying to use it as a way to bring Ryan Reynolds like text messages on here and da 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 da. But as you're reading it, you're just like, so you do admit there's Baldoni Heath messages, like you wrote things about Baldoni and Heath in messages that they got in discovery that prove their point of defamation or things of that nature. Whatever it is, Ryan Reynolds does not want us to see it. And that's why they did a whole huff and puff. They had 3 pages that could have just been a page, because they kept reasserting the same argument. All in their attempt to say, please don't put our text message, like, don't put my text messages publicly. But I say, let's do it. Judge, the public needs to know. I'm not a bot. Oh, yes, this will be posted on YouTube. But I don't know if it's on docket updates yet. SM Hewitt, I'm not sure. But S said the judge won't do it because he's a non-party now, I feel. I don't think so, S. Ryan Reynolds chose to re-enter the chat. Nobody was asking him to. No one. And he's making an argument that they never really closed this. I mean, Ryan is making the case for them that they never even closed this. So if they never really closed this, they never properly closed it because they can still appeal. I don't know. I just want to see what he's got. Why he's so scared. I want to know why he's so scared. Why is Ryan Reynolds so scared? I want to know. Because he is a nervous little... He's nervous. Jack says, now I know why Friedman was so happy. I don't know if I can have it. I don't know if I have the stamina to keep repeating. But basically, what had happened is I read the Rule 11. And basically, it just gives me the impression that Ryan Reynolds does not want any text messages that he wrote about Baldoni and Heath to hit the docket. And that's why he accentuated that the fact is, like, he was only talking about Sarwitz and Abel, not anybody else. But I'm like, you didn't need to re-enter the chat, Ryan. I might do a song about re-entering the chat unnecessarily. Like, you did this to yourself. DSan929 said they had to, after the judge said things need to be unsealed, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, they're gonna need to be unsealed anyway. We as a public need, like, have the right to know. I mean, this is all on, like, our dime as taxpayers, right? So, Gio said, what else is coming down pike? Who knows? But I think one of them has got to be Ryan being nervous about his text messages being seen by the public. Especially if it gives any hint of, like, stuff. Which I think it does. Mama_Panda said, Wayfarer helping others find their way. Legally Latina said, will all the petty people in the room please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. S said Christmas is coming early. Not a bot say may RR lose 3 more movie deals. Not here said the docket number. The docket number is 1107. 1107. Just said nervous Nelly, LOL. KR said, are they the sealed messages BF attached to his letter on November 18? Let me see what November 18 was. Do you have a docket number? Breezy runs, it's okay. It's just that multiple people asked the same question as you. And I was like, I don't know if it was so back to back that I was like, I don't know if I have the stamina to repeat it an umphin time. I almost felt like saying, people need to just watch it on YouTube because but that's only because I had to say it like 3 different times, like back to back to back. November 18. I feel like November 18 is too far back. I feel like it would have to be somewhere closer, but I could be wrong. November 18. What is, Declaration of Brian Freeman in opposition. Oh, maybe it is 983. Let's see what the declaration says. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. I think you're right. It is this one because it claims that attached here to is Exhibit A is a true and correct copy of a document produced by plaintiff Blake Lively. So Exhibit A is by Blake Lively. Exhibit B is from Ryan. Exhibit C is from Ryan. Exhibit D is from Ryan. Exhibit E is from Ryan. Exhibit F is from Ryan. Exhibit G is from Ryan. Exhibit H is from Ryan. And then Exhibit I is from Ryan. So yes, I think that is the one. 983. Everything obviously is filed under seal. But not for long. Saucy Nugget says it gave you life. It did. Because he's not gotten the smoke that he needs, honestly. Because when he jokingly said that he would use his wife as a shield, to save his, like if an intruder came and now because he loves his kids so much, he would use his wife as a human shield. And it's like, okay, you love your kids so much, you would use your wife as a human shield? You won't sacrifice yourself? That says a lot, Ryan. I don't care if this is supposed to be a joke. That says a lot. But yeah. I feel like he's putting everything on Blake. And he needs to own some of the stuff that he's doing. Prickly Pear 87 said he's losing projects. Does the industry already know something more? I mean, I think what the industry's coming to find out is that people are not getting tired of this. As tired as we are, we're committed. As tired as we are, we're not letting them not be held accountable. Gio said, where does RR say that about re-entering chat? No, I just mean like when the Rule 11, he didn't need to come back in and say like, well, I want to add some stuff to Rule 11. And it's like, okay, that's him re-entering the chat. When he wanted to add some supplemental stuff to his Rule 11 motion for sanctions against them. C and Go said, can you read the original Rule 11 sanctions filing? Can I? Do I want to? It depends on how long it is. Let me look. Let me look if it's at all interesting to me. Rule 11. Original rule. So supplemental. Extensions to motions to seal. JW says documents Lively wants are privileged and already ruled out. Denies a part. What is the rule 11? What is does anybody happen to know what the docket number is for the rule 11 original one? I actually don't know what the... If you can find me the docket number, CN Go, then maybe. I can't seem to find it right now. But if you can find the docket number, I'll consider it. It depends on how long it is. LJ said, I'm so tired of their secrecy. They are the complainants. I know, right? They're acting like the defendants. Like, literally, out of everybody, shouldn't you be the one that wants everybody to see everything? Katie said she's in bed now, but touched everything on her way there. LOL. Oh. Are you talking about she made her bed? Now live in it? Is that what you're talking about? Or am I reading something else? Mount Olympus 88 said Ryan is crying now. MJTNGW said judge gave Wayfarer permission to include this, right? So how can he say it's just to put it on the docket? Yeah. DSAM929 said that's why they're scared. Saucy Nugget says, I paid for those text messages. You want to see them. Breezy Run says, I'm so confused. Sorry, Breezy Runs. Hopefully you can watch this on YouTube live. I mean, on YouTube when I put it up. But if Carol was here, Carol's so gifted at doing updates. Summaries. Very good at summaries. It's a skill set that I need to learn because I get so tired at the idea. It's like I can't repeat it for the 100th time, even though it wasn't 100th time. It's like the 3rd time. Gio said for Mr. Stealthy, he's showing his hand. Jess says, has Justin Wayfarer seen his text? Yes. Everything in the docket, like even though it's sealed to like it's redacted for us or sealed for us, it's not sealed or redacted for them. They could see everything. Legally Latina said, I kind of hope Ryan is in here. If Ryan was in here, Legally Latina, this live would not be happening still. And I wouldn't be surprised if this gets shut down because his minions would make sure of it. He just can't let people talk about him. He lets people talk about his wife. That's why I'm like, he's a protector of his wife. I don't think he's ever tried to shield her. He's used her as a shield maybe, but never... I haven't seen him shield her from anything. Moonhand, I mean, even the railing on Justin Baldoni, that was his ego. It had nothing to do with her. And I mean, my opinion, allegedly. Moonhand Healing said, new meeting to Atlantis Morris that's uninvited. Breezy Run said, that's what I get for writing my dang final paper instead of TikToking. LOL. No, that's good. You are being responsible, Breezy Runs. Prickly said, Bocce, entitled Crying Ryan Uninvited. Saucy said, BF is nasty for that. Love it. DSAN929 said, oof. Notabot said, I guess RR didn't delete his text like Blake wanted. Madeline said, if I'm sick and tired of them hiding their nefariousness, I can't imagine BF. Oh, 983. 983. So let's look at 983. 983. Oh, wait a minute. That's the other thing with Brian Friedman. I thought it was the answer to the Rule 11. I already forgot it. 983 was that one. Mama said, all I can think of is Crying by Aerosmith. Zane said, they know everything. They work with them. Illegally Latina said, but wait, Blake is a grown woman. Yes. Blake has her stuff to own. I think this is so hard because every time I say that Ryan Reynolds owns his stuff, like needs to have more smoke than he does, people always think that means I'm taking something away from Blake Lively. There's enough smoke to go around. Blake Lively has her own smoke. But the fact that this man is not getting anything for the things that he's done, I don't think so. That man deserves it. just like Colleen Hoover did. But like these two, they're all doing some Matrix situation. And that's why I think that Blake gets everything. And Blake owns what she has to own for herself. But are these folks doing some stuff too that they should have owned? Absolutely. She's not the only person. So, Jess said Justin, Jamie, Wayfarer as a whole have been picked apart because they filed unsealed Blake and Ryan's turn. Yeah. LJ said there are liabilities to the film industry. Madeline said if Blake hadn't exaggerated and lied about details, I would still be on her side probably. You know, that's the thing, Madeline. Honestly, she overplayed her hand. Madeline, there's so many things that I'm like, if you just said this, you would have had the public support. If you had just said this, you would have had the public support. But you went all the way to this thing. And the thing is, it's fine to accuse him of this if it turned out the evidence was rocking with you. You know, was jiving with you. The problem is she accuses him and he actually came with receipts. No matter how much these new accounts coming out of the woodwork saying, oh my word, Blake has been proven right. And Look, you can't fool people who have been watching this docket forever, have been reading and looking at every single thing. You can do that to the casual viewer, but you are not going to gaslight people who have been following this thing forever. Okay, so she overplayed her hand. There was so many points that Blake Lively could have had the support of everybody, I think. I know not everybody, because some people are like, she would have never gotten my support. I get it, fine. But I'm just saying, there were points where I felt like if she just did this, she could have gotten public support. But the problem with Blake is she went here, and then she kept going worse and worse. Like, she keeps going worse and worse. She is her worst enemy. She just keeps making bad decisions. And I'm like, you're making it very hard for a redemption arc when you act like this. Matt Olympus 88 said Popcorn Planet appealed. Hopefully it works out. I mean, it's hard unless he's trying to get it somewhere else aside from Florida. Because the way the Florida's laws are written, archaic. The way they define a journalist, archaic. It doesn't work with real life anymore. Madeline said, in another universe, I want Blake to find out no one was paid to hate on her. LMAO. I mean, I think, it's like, it's hard as a human being, right? To be disliked so much. But none of those things really were major. She really compounded. Like, people had moved on. The August thing, people had moved on. She has more people disliking her after she did her lawsuit than she had when she did her bad promo. Like, I don't know what possessed her to think that this was a good idea. Now, if she just went straight to the courts and didn't try to do the whole media blitz through the New York Times hit piece, then maybe we would not be here. But she chose to bring it to the court of public opinion first. And then cried like, oh, I just want to do it in court. If you wanted to do it in court, you would have done it in court first. Then once it went through the court system, then you could have gone to the New York Times and showed what the final evaluation of everything was. But don't do it in the front end and then not think that we're going to think it's not PR. It's definitely PR. It was a coordinated drop. Lizzie Lopez says he has hurt feelings. Yeah. And like he says, you can't sue people over hurt feelings, but yet they did. Legally Latina said they can't stop the people. No. D-San 929 said 100. Matt Olympus 88 said he's not man enough for anything. And you know what? He loves to try to throw that back in Justin Baldoni's face. Oh, man enough, man enough. Like he even knows the definition of what that means. He's so petty. Mary said Ryan's wife name is huge. Ryan's wife name. I don't know what that means, Mary. Prickly Pear 87 says she's just a wife. He can get another one. He's done it before. You know, I used to think that they would potentially get divorced after this, but I honestly was like, stay together. Like the world, like another, like keep everybody safe from y'all's. Like just stay together. Don't divorce. I am pro Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds staying married. Do not spread whatever this is. Just keep it within the family. Bailey Bear 23 said, I agree. All of this spiraled over SJ and RR egos. As said, both RR and BL are just as bad as each other. They're both at fault. Yeah, for sure. They're both at fault, for sure. And I mean, all of these folks are grown at the end of the day. Some, I think, deserve the smoke more than others. And obviously, I feel like Blake, Ryan, and Colleen. Alex Sachs, too, to some degree, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Alex Sachs is lower on my list. Just because, you know, it's just not the same. It's not the same thing for me. I mean, I wasn't a fan of her deposition, but there were also things that she said in there that don't help Blake whatsoever. I mean, she admitted to the takeover, right? She said the final takeover. I mean, like, there was a takeover. I don't know why Blake Lively acts like there wasn't. Zane said both things can be true. Not a bot said I noticed BL used POC in her new yes. IG stories for hair care commercial trying to prove not racist. Yes. This is another thing that Blake Lively like does so poorly, right? She tries too hard. And what I mean by that is it's not natural. What she does is not natural. She just does this extreme, like sudden turn to try to address. She listens too much to the public. I know that sounds weird, but she does. She doesn't. I want Blake to act from an authentic place in her heart, instead of trying to control public opinion of her. I know that sounds ridiculous because but the reason people don't believe her is because she's too beholden to public opinion, in my opinion. She's too beholden to public opinion. She's trying to constantly court the public. She's constantly trying to change the public's perception. Instead of going who am I as a person? How do I want to show up in this world? So that if people dislike me, so stinking what? At least I am living my most authentic life. I don't know if she knows what it means to be authentic for herself. I don't know if Blake knows who she is. I don't know if she knows who she is. Because a person who knows who they are wouldn't cater so much to the public. Because a person who knows who they are knows 100% people are going to dislike you. No matter how kind you are, no matter how giving you are, somebody's going to dislike you. You can't control what other people think and believe about you. That's what I remind myself. Every time I get a little nasty comment from someone, I'm like, you know what that means? I'm living. As much as the person was get a life, I am living. Because people who are living get comments like that. People who are living are constantly getting knocked around by somebody. Somebody who's not living enough. Because people who are living don't have time for that kind of energy. People who are living don't have time to be negative because they're living their best lives. So all I want for Blake Lively is to figure out who in the world she is so she can stop trying to chase the public's love for her. Saucy Nugget says they all puffin. Katie 2000 with a bunch of claps. Drea said docket number 223. Oh, dang. Is it that far back? Docket 223? Dang. Dang, that was a long time ago. Okay, y'all. It's 30 pages. It's 30 pages. I don't know. I will say this. I don't have the stamina at this moment to read the 30 pages. I wanted to do the 56.1 responses. So I will say maybe I'll have stamina to do a read through of this Rule 11, but not at this moment. But that's good to know. I'm going to like star it to remind myself. This is the Rule 11. Madeline said, I bet Blake dreams every night about going back to December, LOL, and not approve the New York Times article. Yeah. Hindsight is 2020. I'm sure she wishes she could take it back. Zane said she's entitled and egotistical, and I think in a toxic AF marriage. I think so too. I think she married him at a time where, you know, again, it's not necessarily the age gap. They're I think 11 years apart. But I think it's because she was 23. To me, you know, there's a lot of things she wanted to do in her life, I think. And she got married to him. And I think instead of being a husband that was excited for her to explore her career, really just kind of held her back from what she could have been. I don't know what she could have been. I mean, I don't know if she would have been the same level, but I think she could have been more. She could have done more. If she wanted to. Obviously, if she made her decision, she wanted to marry him. I guess, you know. I just think it's really interesting when I see such animosity that Blake has towards pregnancy, talking about pregnancy, motherhood. Like there's almost a bitterness sometimes, a vibe out of her. Which makes me wonder if she ever wanted the life that she has right now. Well, maybe not right now, because obviously I'm sure she doesn't want the life she has right now with the public disliking her as much as the public does. But like, none of these things are like, none of this is really like nuclear, right? Blake can bounce back from this. And the way that Blake can bounce back from this is, one, know who in the world she is, own her stuff, and just take responsibility and accountability for things and move on. But the reason I think the public can't get past it is because I don't think she's there. I don't think she can do that in a very authentic way. She has a hard time. So Mount Olympus 88 said the title of song, Ryan is not man enough, and now he's crying. Sounds like a country song. LJ said the fact that she published her CRD proves she had ulterior motives. Yeah. Saucy Nugget says receipt proof timeline. Yeah. No, I mean, LJ's point is strong. Like, if she really wanted it to go to the courts, she would not have printed the CRD. She wanted to destroy him. And she destroyed herself in the process. Madeline says she went too hard on many things that I think gave her away. 100%. Zane said this case is proof, too, why you need 1 year minimum maternity leave after giving birth. And again, people might be forgiving of that. A lot of people said if she just says that she had postpartum, maybe there's forgiveness there, whatever. But I think what I just need to see from Blake is just ownership on who she is as a person. The fact that she keeps shifting her branding right now, she went from like this, like, I am a strong woman, hear me roar kind of thing, to like this demure, not to say a demure woman can't be powerful and strong as well. You can be, but the personas are different. Kind of, I think it was like, what's her name? She does PR, Brianna Eve or something. Ashley Brianna Eve, I think, was talking about like just that switcheroo. And it's because it switches so fast that it puts people's heads in a spin, and it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel authentic. It's not because she can't become that, if she is that in the future, but it's the fact that it's so drastic. And it is, again, like this desire for the public to feel different about her. And it's like, right now we're in this situation because Blake Lively wants to control the public, and the public is not willing to be controlled. And if she could just let it go and just like allow herself to to show up and say, hey, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. But instead, she does all these PR games that just drive people up the wall. Sarah said if she had just gone after Justin alone, none of this would be happening. Oh, interesting. If she had just gone after Justin alone, none of this would be happening. You think, Sarah? What do you mean by that? Because I think Sarowitz would still back him up. I would love to know what that means. Because I'm trying to think. Would it not be? I don't know. Classy Coconut said, you know how some people are born with common sense? Yeah. You know how some people are born without common sense? Yeah. Those are Blake supporters. I mean, to be fair, people without common sense are on every side of this situation. It's not. I'm not a believer that it's only folks. I mean, like, there's people with common sense and without common sense on both sides of this issue. Or whatever. I mean, I don't even know if there's only two sides. There's multiple sides. And I am actually not even a fan of the term common sense, because some things are common sense to people, but it's not common sense to another person simply because of, like, the experiences they've had. They're not exposed to the same thing to know that it's supposed to be common sense. You know what I mean? LJ says she is rich. There's no reason why she had to accept this acting gig over taking maternity leave. I mean, I think she had tried so hard to get a few movies off the ground and it kept failing. So I think she really needed this to work out. I mean, she already had Another Simple Favor lined up. So it's not like she didn't have another movie to work on, but I think she really, really needed this to work out. Lizzie Lopez said someone started their video today saying, now that Blake has proven her case. Lizzie, I'm telling you, that's the script they're going with right now. And this is why I'm saying, like, that. This is why people don't believe these content creators that are coming out with this scripting, because it's too scripted. It's way too scripted. Justin Baldoni supporters, we may say things that are kind of alike, but we don't say it exactly alike. And some of these things are exactly alike. And I part of me goes, this would work if you didn't show me a multitude of videos that are saying the same thing. If you just showed me one, then I could think, oh, wait, that could be authentic. You show me a bunch of them, I'm like, okay, this is definitely like a paid situation at this point. Because nobody talks the same way. No one. You can't, if you're almost verbatim saying the same thing, you got a script. The QJ, and she must have paid really well. I mean, I don't know. Or I don't know if she paid or how it worked, but somebody's trying heavy. The QJB said she knows no one was paid to talk badly. Zane said this case is a great one to reference to advertise for a private mediation services. Kiki loves the SpongeBob bubble characters. Saucy said it's always the New York Times hit piece. Yeah. Bailey Bear 23 said, I didn't know he recast a body double for Deadpool. Yeah, that's another thing. I was like, who was fat shaming you? Blake? Certainly wasn't Justin Baldoni. Your body ended up on It Ends With Us. You didn't end up doing a body double. Even though you requested one, you chose not to use them. But who got a body double on Deadpool and Wolverine? You did. So was that you fat shaming yourself? Was that Ryan fat shaming you? Your body was fine. But, like, you still didn't put that suit on. They only used your voice. Why is that? Somebody was fat shaming you, and it certainly wasn't Justin Baldoni. Brown Eyes 114 said, please don't teach future BLs how to win. Bailey Bear 23 said, remember when B and Gigi did the step and repeat? He looked thoroughly annoyed with them. Step and repeat. I don't know what that means. Zane said he'd be a nightmare to divorce. Oh, Mary said I wanted to say Ryan's wife's name is Hugh. Gotcha. I was like, huge. Okay, you. That makes sense. Classy Coconut said those poor kids. Key said don't spread. Madeline says, Hibachi, that's so real. Please spare innocence and stay together. Yeah. Bailey Bear 23 said, I think Blake is too naive and delusional to divorce Ryan. And I think, again, I would just like them to stay together. Like, stay together. Stay together. Zane said, I'm always pro a woman leaving a man. Yeah, but, you know, I think it's minimal damage if they just stay together. Like, keep it there. No need to hit. As said, honestly, Isabella too, not getting enough smoke. I mean, I admit that I still remain to be soft towards Isabella. It's a bias, I guess I have. Just because I do think it's her first movie. I mean, she's grown. And then the whole thing with her lawyers doesn't sit well with me, but I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like, I don't know. She's still grown. She's still grown. But I do admit, I give her a little bit more of a pass than maybe I should. It's not really a pass. I still want her to help. I don't know. I struggle with all the extended cast. Because I feel like they were put in a very difficult situation. And obviously it's easy to say, oh, I would never do what they did. But I don't know. Rocky00 said, no prenup. Ryan's trapped in the marriage unless he's willing to give up half his fortune. Legally Latina said, Colleen has not received enough smoke. Katie said, prickly, keep the kids together in a predictable chaos, if nothing else. Gio said, sure, Julie Bloom, not so happy. Tata said, Ryan, Blake, and everyone that went along with their bully plans are done in my book. Saucy Nuggets says, yeah, I feel differently about Sax now. I think she played both sides to get herself through. Saucy says, but the unfollow ain't cute. Riffin J says she's a performed ally. Zane says she doesn't have any true identity outside of all that smoke and mirrors. I mean, a part of me wonders what her true identity is outside of the smoke and mirrors. Because all we've been given is smoke and mirrors. And the reason I feel that way is because if she has a strong sense of herself, I don't think we would be seeing this kind of contortion that she's doing in the public to just try to get the love of the public back. Brown Eyes 114 said it'll be difficult for her to be authentic because she doesn't even know who she is. That's what it feels like sometimes. I really don't know if she knows who she is. Zane says she's been with RR since she was, 24? She's just a reflection of him mostly at this point. Yeah, she met him at 23. Got married, I think, when she was 24. The QJB said, that sounds like Meghan Markle trying to rebrand herself daily. I will tell you, I have never, this is just me personally, I've never known or understood the connection between Meghan Markle and Blake Lively for folks. I've heard it many a times, but I don't see any like correlation at all in my brain at least. But you're definitely not alone. I've heard this sentiment where people connect Meghan Markle with Blake Lively, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't think they're at all alike. But I also don't follow Meghan Markle very much. Legally Latina said Blake is Serena. Saucy says she does lack identity. In reports, she is T.S. friend or RR's wife. That's true. Even in the New York Times piece, right? Jaded Ritual said, I think she tried to show us who she is when she did her whole preserve thing. Ugh. Okay. Ugh. Well, I did say she's never going to beat the allegations, so. Zane said, I see RR is very controlling and do not see him being with someone who he could not fully control. Prickly said, what's that saying about being trapped at the age you get famous? She was about 16. Kiowa Girl said, exactly, because we're too exhausted from living. Madeline said, Bocce, do it another time to compare and refresh. to yourself and audience. Yeah. If you're talking about, um, if you're talking about the Rule 11, yeah. Kim Shawnee said, just saw your post. Congratulations on $1,000. Thank you. So, the post she's talking about is a story I put because, CJ, so C Journalist 24 and Elsridge had really encouraged me to do YouTube. Like, and I was like, why did I not do this earlier? But not moved, but like I brought my TikTok stuff to YouTube. And within 10 days, I was able to get monetized. And so in order to be monetized, you have to have 1,000 followers, which I already did because of my Lucala days. But from the first day that I put Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively stuff on there, within 10 days, I got the 4,000 watch hours that I needed. Sorry, 4,000 watch hours that I needed. And so then that allowed me to be monetized. And so once I got monetized was November 20. And so I got my first, like the first 500 came in like 10 days after that. And then, or maybe it was 11 days. I can't remember. And then today is the 22nd day. So it was like really like, I was like, that's good side money. Like hopefully I could get like 1,250 or whatever. I do dream someday to do this full time. This would be fantastic if I could do this full time. But that, I put the number that I need to get. I was like, I would need to have like 1,502 bocce buddies, which is a membership thing, in order to be able to do it full time. But at the same time, I'm like, is that realistic? I don't know, but I like to put it out there because I like putting out goals in front of folks, just because I think there's beauty in that, and it keeps things in front of my head. The problem with me though is I want to grow, but I also want my peace. And sometimes those are in like butting heads with each other. Because sometimes if you want the audience, you have to give up a little bit of your peace sometimes, I feel like. Because the bigger your audience is, the more it can get wild. And so I think a part of me is like, I'll just grow this as slowly as I can, but with intentionality. Because I don't let people stay in my space if they're disrespectful. I just don't. Some people are like, of course you want that because that helps push your algorithm. It lets people know that you exist. And, you know, when you have haters, like that's a good sign. I don't mind having haters. I just don't need them in my space. Like you can hate me in privacy. You can hate me in all your spaces. But like, I don't need to hear your hate, like spreading down on me. Like the minute you say your hate on me, like you're gone. Like you're out of my space immediately. And so that always limits the amount of people that follow me and like can subscribe to me or whatever. I don't know if it affects the subscriber on YouTube. I think I hide my channel from them, but it doesn't unsubscribe them if they subscribe to me. I don't know how all of that works. But all I know is like, I'm not going to tolerate any of that. Like I can take negativity or hard truths, but from people who actually care about me. I'm not going to take it from a random stranger who does not care about me and just wants to hurt me. Gone immediately. LJ said they deserve each other. Yeah, Zane, I think she could have been a decent actress had she married someone who cared about the craft. LJ said old videos has shown us who she always was. I mean, I guess she's not ever going to beat the allegations, right? The racist allegations. I think that's always going to linger because it's probably been the most consistent part of who she is. And I think she tries very hard to beat it, right? Like now suddenly she's taking photos with black folks and stuff like that. And it's like, Blake, please stop. Because it just doesn't come from an authentic place. At least it doesn't come off that way. It feels like she's using people as props. Not a bot said, yes, having 4 kids, but hating anything regarding the birthing concept, which is really like wild to me. I rarely see that. Like there seems to be a real animosity towards the conversation. So it just makes me wonder how she really feels about it, you know? Mount Olympus 88 says she's trying too hard to look kind and friendly now. Fake. Hi, Rachel's View. Kiki said this isn't a small thing. She is messing with other people's livelihood. Yeah, Legally Latina said, I think that even today she would have a chance if just apologized. I mean, not for me, but probably a lot of people. I think that if she just owns something. I don't know if something is enough, but but even owning something, it's just she refuses. Oh, okay, it was Ashley Brianna Eve. That's right. Thank you, Brian Eyes 114. Gio said warmth smile by Brianna. Sunshine Scary says love Ashley's content. Kiowa Girl said just like she switches her stories about what happened. Ariel 25 says she's using the same PR tactics. She's exposing its insanity. Yeah. I don't know why she thought exposing it wouldn't expose herself. But it definitely is. Prickly says she could claim PP issues in the beginning. It's too far gone now. She's doubled and tripled down. Yeah. I think the further along, it's gotten much harder for her because her what's available to her has decreased. Like the options for her. OR Rhythm Nation said a leopard doesn't change its spots. Not a Bot says she seems to be fixating on Jamie and her mini-me. Steph J is following suit. Yeah, they're going hardcore for Jamie now. Or Rhythm Nation says she's been telling us who she is and we should just accept her as is. Brown Eyes 114 said, I think we would still be here because JB has a strong support network. Rachel's View said, I definitely believe that you have to have awful tendency to do what she did. Mount Olympus 88 said they can't break up. Vance Jam connects them. Mel Snare said, I'm finding myself wondering how I might feel if it goes to trial and she prevails. Do you ever? I don't think it'll change anything for me. And I think that was kind of like Chris's point when Chris thought that they would settle. Is like everybody who's made a decision, like, has made a decision at this point. Now, if she actually presents something she hasn't presented so far that could change my mind, that's the thing. I highly doubt it because everybody's like, oh, she's waiting until trial. And I'm like, I highly doubt she would wait until trial if she had something. She didn't wait until trial to show us what she thought she had that was undisputable proof, right? At which it wasn't. Brown Eyes 114 said she always been like this and can't change. C and Go said, I think she's focusing on JH because of all the positive that has come out on JB. I mean, it's not going to be a good thing. Either it's not going to work. I mean, Rachel's View said, I think she wanted to go up against her husband's movie. I think they wanted to have like the whole Demi Bruce Willis moment, right? It hadn't been done since then. And then it happened because, you know, the stars aligned, but really like not stars. That like it was an intentional push, right? MJT and GW said, are you okay from all the flooding? I am actually not in the line of the flooding, thankfully. However, I was supposed to do a live with the House of Chatter podcast, and she was experiencing issues. And so we had to reschedule because her internet was not working well. C and Go said, because JB has had an outpouring of support. Elise said, I feel the story she wanted Barbie and losing it made her go crazy, and it ends with us. Moonhand Healing said, but smearing isn't illegal. If she wanted to nail him, she had to connect it to protected activity. C and Go said, wait till she finds out JH also has supporters. C2353 said, do you know who orchestrated or how she was given the part of Lily? All we know is that Alex had her be the first person she casted. She also thanks Ange for making the call to Warren. And bringing her in. She also thanks Liz Plank and said it's because of her that she's Lily. So she's credited 3 different people for 3 different things. So I think all of them played a part in her getting Lily. So Liz Plank played a part, Alex Sachs played a part, and Ange Gianetti played a part, according to Blake, because she thanks all 3 of them and credits them for being the reason why she's Lily. Not Here said, I'm sorry, but okay, I'm not actually going to read that one. Sorry. Madeline says she took the movie because she had to widely promote her businesses. This was all planned, babes. Mama Panda said, I would be such a bad bot. I can't stay on script. I make it my own. Rachel's V said, in all honesty, I haven't come across a happy Blake supporter. They all seem angry. I mean, I think I would be angry too if they knew that she's not doing well. But I honestly, it's this new brand of like scripting of like, now the Blake's Lively's case has been proven. I just laugh. Not here said the photos with the background at the premiere. Step and repeat. Photos with the background at the premiere. I probably have to look at what that means because I'm still not sure. Kiki said I think her body was fine and I could infer it was probably her husband. Yeah, I always thought Blake Lively's body was fine. I didn't know why she couldn't have been Lady Pool. So that either she felt uncomfortable with her own body or her husband was saying some stuff. Gia said, I hope her kids are in therapy because unless develop positive coping mechanisms, they will be, it doesn't finish. But, I mean, her kids are super young. Olin is like, just turned 2. I don't know how old her other kids are. And in order for them to be in therapy, she would have to bring them there. They're so young. Tiff said maybe RR was feeding the fat shaming her to motivate her to lose weight for Deadpool. Possibly. Rachel's View said LMA Hibachi, just stay together. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that way. Girlish Hambino said they need to stay together. One bad couple instead of 2. C. Salomon said, nah, Isabella can get the... It says smile, but I'm thinking you're meaning to say smoke too. She's old enough. Karina said, are we doing depositions tonight? No, because this was an informal thing. Again, I was supposed to do a podcast with the House of Chatter podcast, but things happened where we couldn't do it. And so I didn't like make a plan to do it with one with Elsridge and Carol, but so I don't want to commit them to that. But I said to them, hey, if you want to come like I'm doing a live, but I don't know if I have the stamina right now, honestly, because this has already been an hour and a half. So I'm just gonna see where like the comments like finish up. Right now it's at 99 plus new messages. To see where we're at, like by the end of it, so I could put this up on YouTube as well. C2353 said, imagine the scrutiny on her in her next project. Legally Latina said, Isabella deserves smoke. Deborah said, I'm waiting to see Isabella Depo first. Oh! Elsridge said, bocce. I came here at the worst time. Get that Isabella thing out of your system. I'm sorry, Elsridge. But you're into space. Ariel 20. I don't know if you're still into space. I'm so far behind on the chat. Ariel 25 said, Hassan did the right thing and he escaped the drama. So did Alex. Like young Atlas. Alex definitely did not participate. He did the minimal amount that he needed to be at to fulfill his contract, I think. But he was like, nope, I'm not going to be doing more than that. He was non-existent. Madeline said, I have sympathy for almost all, but to a degree, they still made choices and continue to make them. Legally Latina said, then Brandon, and on the top, Jenny. Zane said, I think RR was jealous. The Deadpool creator made Ladypool in 09 based on her before he was it. Teresa, thank you for the gift. Legally Latina said, no, wait. The one who deserves the most smoke is Liz Plank. Elsridge says, you have until Jesus Christ is reborn to knock that off, or else I'll have words with you. Chainsmoker 321 said, they all show their true color. There's nothing else. There's nothing anyone could do for me to make me destroy anyone. Vanny said Isabel is a tiny little cutie pumpkin, mean girl, and opportunist. Ari said I don't get the Meghan Markle slander. I never do either. To be honest, Ari, again, I'm not well versed enough, but I've never understood it, but I hear it a lot. Olympus underscore this God underscore God said there isn't one. AI said same, never seen or understood that either. Legally Latina said, but guys, you guys are talking like this girl didn't already have her identity before Ryan. Breezy runs is the out of touch. I don't know what that means. Mensa Mama said Blake is a grown woman. Don't forget this was planned from stop there. Madeline said, Bocce, same. I don't get the Meghan Markle stuff alongside Blake. LOL. Yeah, I thing that always confused me. And then I don't know how to pronounce this. It's like little bubbles, maybe. I don't know. The person said they share the same agency, WME. No Meghan Markle slander. Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't because I don't even understand it. AI said, oh, also something we missed because of the Rolling Stone article. TMZ did a piece on the 9th about their friendship. On the 9th about Taylor Swift and her friendship. Ari said, a reminder that we still haven't seen one unredacted Blake Lively text message in evidence. Crazy. Yeah. AI said, or lack thereof. Moonhand Healing said, do you remember what month BL's PR planted the article that said her directorial debut? The thing is, I always thought that was a typo because the only directorial debut she had technically was the music video for Taylor Swift. There was only one article that had that statement. So a part of me was like, was that just a typo? But then I think about the Star or the Sun article, right? That used Justin's name instead of Ryle. And so I was like, is it an accident? And also, like, I think Sweet and Salty Lynn did a video about, like, how Ryan Reynolds uses typos. Like, he does typos sometimes intentionally. And so it also made me wonder about that. Person with a bubble said BL had an affair with Ryan Reynolds and then married him allegedly. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people felt like that was what happened. That obviously they claimed that they were friends for a really long time. And I'm like, friends for a really long time? Actually, they even said friends for years. And I'm like, why do y'all keep adding S's to things that don't have an S? Like, you were not friends for years with an S. So, I don't know. They love adding S's to things that don't have S's. Now, I might do a song about how stop adding S's to things that don't have S's, you know? Heather Loves TikTok said, what is Lucula? It is Bridgerton related. It is Luke Newton and Nicola Coughlan, when I was really hoping that they would become a couple, like in real life. But it did not happen. They both have their significant others. Brown Eyes 114 said, congratulations, so well deserved. Thank you, Brown Eyes. Akima 18 said, hi, I'd love to see the text message overlaid with a timeline. Have you done that yet? No, I have not. And it's actually a lot of work. And I'm not the right person for it per se. Carol might be able to do that best, but that I would not put, I brought it up to Carol, but I also wouldn't put that on her. Like, I was supposed to help her out and I still haven't sent her stuff and I need to. I just need to have a day where I can like send what I have because there's a lot. There is a lot of text messages. But it also is really helpful when you see like what conversations were happening at the same time. Because again, when I did the Stephanie Jones lawsuit, that's how I knew she was lying. Because the way she put her text messages in her complaint versus when you put it in order, I was like, when you put it in order, it's telling a very different story. Chainsmokers 321 said, put it out into the universe. AI said, I feel that. I've seen how chaotic it sometimes gets. Rachel's View said, we enjoy the peaceful space. Yeah. Mad Olympus 88 with the heart. Kiki said, good for you, Bocce. Keeping your peace is priceless. It is really priceless. Yeah. It's like slow and steady wins the race. Because you know what? I do believe there's enough really nice people in the world that I can have a following of really nice people. I do. I believe that. I don't believe that I have to have really mean people who just want to hurt me and want to cut me down as an individual just for funsies in order to grow my channel. I don't believe I don't believe I need to sacrifice myself for followers. I don't. Heather loves TikTok, said Bocce. You are very level-headed. Thank you. I would like to be level-headed all the time. I can't I can't say I'm always level-headed. But I like to be when I can be. Ari says she doesn't try hard enough to beat the allegations. How about some real advocacy? Yeah. Not Here said, is it true about RR projects canceled? I heard Paramount. Was it Paramount? Or I don't know if it was Paramount. Somebody canceled like three movies of his. Ali said, you started out not just looking for views and built a great base as you're so authentic. Alala, thank you for the gift. And Ali, thank you for that statement. I think that also shows, like, one of the things that I shared with people on YouTube is, like, for people that watched all the way through, it was like 5 to 9% retention rate, which is huge. Because usually, if for hours of live, usually 1 to 2% is 2% is considered impressive. So the fact that there's 5 to 9% of people staying until the end of that video. Now, here's the thing. I try to tell people all the time, you don't have to watch the whole video at once. You can pause it and come back to it later. So if you only have 30 minutes, you can watch 30 minutes and come back and finish up another 30 minutes until you're done with the live. You don't have to sit through and listen to 4 hours straight. And people didn't know that YouTube like holds your spot. Now, there are some videos that I guess don't, but from what I've heard from people, it does work for them when they've had to like pause it and come back to it. It does keep the spot that they were at. But yeah, so to me, that tells me that, yeah, the amount of followers I have may be tiny, but they're committed. And I'm telling you right now, like, you can have a lot of followers, but if they're not interacting or engaging with your stuff, it's almost worthless. Like, having subscribers or having followers that don't engage with your stuff is almost pointless. You might as well have a bunch of bots following you at that point. So you rather have a small group of people, but are committed to actually looking at your stuff. Oh wait, no, that was to not hear. Okay. LJ says she's not very maternal. The scene with her pushing the baby in the swing was awkward. Yeah. People thought she accidentally like pulled a baby's hair. Carol said, did she just start? I just woke up. Hi, everyone. Hi, Carol. I have been on live for 1 hour and 42 minutes. Chain Smokers 321 says narcissists are completely incapable of accountability. And so I think that's why I'm like, okay, this is going to be where the rubber meets the road. Because if she's truly not a narcissist, and neither is Ryan, right? A lot of people think that they are. But if they're truly not, then they can get to accountability. But if they never can get to accountability, then maybe people's assessments are correct. Ariel 25 said, I think we've been gut punched with the dismissal of his case. So if she wins, Zane said, I doubt it, but I'm open to being proven wrong and I won't hold my breath. Don't hold your breath. You might pass out. Holding your breath to be proven wrong. Olympus _ the gods. Natasha Heath birth video, I feel crossed the line for them. No settlement, I bet. Yeah, I don't think they were ever considering a settlement. Like, go to court. I mean, really, really work it out, you know? Madeline said agrees. She would have already dropped anything that could help her reputation. I think so. This is all about her reputation to begin with. Yeah. LNB said, apparently New York Times has thousands of pages of evidence. Yeah. Lisi said, in order of who should get smoke. I love that you did a smoke like emoji. You're like Blake, then Colleen, then Liz, then Jenny Slate, and then Isabella. You don't feel like Ryan deserves any smoke in this whole thing? I feel like it should be Blake, Ryan, Colleen, Liz Plank, Well, I mean, yeah, maybe Liz Plank. I don't know where Liz Plank is, really. Thank you, Lala, for the gift. I don't know where Liz Plank stands in all of this. Um, I do, but I don't, right? Because she got brought up in the 56.1. I think it's in the 56.1 response or whatever. Jenny Slate. Yeah, yeah. It's about, but where's Brandon Sklenar on this whole thing either? Or are you only, maybe you're only focusing on like doing the women? Maybe there's a different graph for the men. Though there's not like much options. There's just two of them that I really think need smoke. Zane said, does she have to screen test or anything? I don't think so. I didn't get that impression. She may have, but I don't think she did. I don't think there was any chemistry read. But I could be wrong. Mama Panda said, I got into a multi-video argument with someone about whether she filed a 56.1. Not here said, but they're angry because they believe her. I would be angry too. Nay said, or losing, I should say. Maggie says she couldn't be Lady Pool. Oh, thanks, Lala. That was fun. She couldn't be Lady Pool because RR would never pay her a million. Oh. Do you think that might be it? I mean, there might be some truth to that, Maggie. What if he didn't want to pay her going rate? Maybe. I mean, that's not, I mean, you may have just been playing, but there might be some truth to that. They were already over budget, weren't they? Were they not? I don't know. Madeline said, good night, everyone. I fear I have to cut the fun. Bedtime. All right, rest up, Madeline. Olympus said, found it. It's under the December 9th sealed docket, 1025. Kilor Lord said, love you, Bocce. Thank you. Just Me said, I don't get the, the Meghan Markle hate either. SMR31 said, hi, Phoebe. I hear the trial is in March. Are you going to go? SMR31, it's been moved. It is no longer in March. It is now May 18th. So I was going to go for my birthday, but I am not going anymore there. I'm going elsewhere. So that's another thing. Like, so on YouTube, like one of the membership things that I'm offering is like the Bocce Besties. And that's where I'll probably post like for the members when I go travel and do stuff, because I didn't want to clutter like the stuff, because there's people that just want Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively information. They could care less about me as a person. So I wanted to make sure it's clear for them. And then the ones that actually care about like me as a person and like travels and songs and book, like if I do end up writing a book, or if I go to this trial, like if I go to the trial, which I plan to, and I like meet up with content creators or whatever, like I'll do probably videos on that, but those will be for members for behind the scenes stuff. But anything about the actual case, like reporting if I get to sit in on the trial, reporting what the trial said, all of that stuff, that's always going to be public. I'm never going to hide that under a membership. So my rule of thumb is anything public, like public that has to do with Justin Baldoni, that will always be open to all members. I mean, to all people. And the only thing that's hidden in membership videos is anything that's just personal to me as a person. Because again, not everybody's going to care about that. People are just like, feed me my Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing and keep it moving, you know? Big Sis says PR play from the beginning. And Big Sis says they keep adding S's and H's. SSH. Zane said, I put it in a data extract and sort and order and filter. Akima18 said new docs on the docket. Aside from the one we already read with the Rule 11, was there something else? Or are you talking about the Rule 11 stuff? Because that is how we started off this live. We read the Rule 11 things. Okay, it looks like it is the Rule 11 stuff you were probably talking about. Caitlin said, I love that. Protect your peace. Legally Latine said, I don't believe that either. You can grow with only nice people. 100%. I definitely think I can. Brown Eyes 114 said Paramount dropped 3 of his projects, and I believe Netflix picked one. Not a bot said any updates. Anybody who know that inside joke, Elsridge knows. If Elsridge's still in the spot, update. Any updates on Derek? That will be for members only. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Not a bot. Well, actually, it probably will be, but on YouTube. But here, no, there's no updates. There's no updates on Derek. Yeah. I don't think there'll ever be an update on Derek. I think we got the answer for Derek. Did we not? I think we did. I think that door is closed. Big Sis says, which video? Is there a recent live? I've been on several 4 to 5 hour lives of yours. Oh, I don't know what I was talking about, Big Sis. It's been a while. Can you jog my memory on which video you're asking about? LJ said, I think you get paid more if people watch through the commercials instead of skipping. I don't think so, LJ. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I think the reason that I've been able to earn the money that I have is because my videos have been long. And that allows them to put more ads in. So I think whether people skip it or not, because they show the percentage of like skippable ads versus ones that you have to watch. I actually give much props to folks, because usually if you get far enough into the video, then they start doing non-skippable ads. And maybe it's because they think like you're invested and you're going to be willing to sit through non-skippable ads. So I always want to thank like those that actually like watch all the way through when they get non-skippable ads, because I'm like, thank you for enduring that for me. So that you could watch the whole thing. So I mean, maybe not for me, but like that that you enjoy the content enough that you're like, I'll watch the non-skippable ad or like endure it. Okay, Breezy Run said it is up on docket updates now. Lacey said YouTube definitely holds your spot on videos. I've been an active watcher there for years. Just Me said, you know how radios are left on during work? YouTube shows take that place now, LOL, so I catch a lot. Yeah. Big says, I don't want Wayfarer parties to settle. I want it dismissed. Yeah, they're not going to settle. Kamal said, am I late to the party? What did I miss? Yes, you're late to the party, Kamal. I mean, there's been a lot. I've just been reading a lot of the comments, but we did the Rule 11 response from Ryan Reynolds. And all I got out of that is basically his admittance that there is some text messages about Blake. I mean, not about Blake, but about Heath and Baldoni. That he does not want people to see. Lala said, okay, I don't know how to gift. I'm learning with you because you are my favorite. I'll keep messing with it. Oh, thanks, Lala. I think you did give. You must have figured it out because you did gift me. And you did those fun glasses. CN Go said, can someone refresh my memory on what the 56.1 is? 56.1 is like statement of facts, I believe. Thank you, CN Go, for the gift. It's just, I believe it's like statement of facts where it has to come with the MSJ. Like it's a requirement, at least for his court. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so they probably can tell you better. But I feel like it's supposed to come with the MSJ. And it's like facts that they have to then say if it's undisputed. It's supposed to be like a list of undisputed facts. Prickly said, I want to be a fly on the wall of the magistrate's office. And then I'm not sure what the rest of the statement means. Zane said, I don't think he wanted her in it at all because technically she really inspired it before they met. The Deadpool creator created Lady Pool in her likeness when she was on Gossip Girl. Really? Interesting. Not Here said, play the chair song. I can use it as the closing song. As Mar31 said, I look forward to, you were looking forward to all the drama. Yeah, me too. I was, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing instead. I mean, I know I'm traveling. I was already going to be out of the country. I was coming back into NYC originally for the trial itself. But it just means that I'm going to stay out of the country for longer. Most likely. Maybe. And then try to transition back home. Olympus said Rule 11 stuff under the extended seal. Maggie said doesn't matter. He is probably also too competitive to hire her anyway. Lacey said yes, updates joke is hilarious. LOL. Prickly said I think the ads have to pay YouTube more if someone watches the whole ad. Oh yeah. Well, okay, yes. I think the ones where it's like non-skippable, yeah, those probably do pay more. And by the time people get to that place, yeah. Holly said I have premium so I don't have to see the ads, but I listen at work so to pass the time. Thanks, Holly. And I mean, obviously I get a share of your premium. Like premium folks, I don't get like ad stuff, but like I get a percentage of your premium cost. Yeah, Mama's Panda said it's about facts. It's about what facts are agreed and which are disputed. And yep, it was based on her character, Serena. That's really interesting. Big Sis, please summarize the recent update on the docket. I missed it. I don't know if basic gist, Big Sis is like, Ryan Reynolds is saying, we were only saying that the sanctions, I want to add a supplemental stuff for Sorowitz and Abel. I wasn't talking about Heath and Baldoni, and I feel like they were just trying to use the supplemental thing to put text messages of mine on the docket and the public docket. It's not important. It's not necessary. But all it told me is that there are really probably incriminating texts from Ryan Reynolds about Heath and Baldoni, and he doesn't want it to go public. But it's all technically on the docket, so it's going to be very interesting to see what Wayfarer says in response to what Ryan is saying. Because, like, those text messages are already on the docket. It's just sealed right now. Mama Panda said, I want to know what the status conference was. And Notabot says, can you save the third week till May for trial? I'm going to try. I mean, I would like to try to stay for as long as the trial's happening, but I would have to work it out with my job. And plus, I'm already going to take a month off from like mid-February to mid-March. Carol said, no, it is fully briefed now. No more Wayfarer party. Replied to it. Oh, no! No more? So he just, oh, okay, thank you, Carol. You're like, it's done. There's nothing left to be done. Okay, then I just want to see the text. Carol, I just wanted to see the text. Unseal them. Prickly said, I hope the magistrate doesn't get them to settle. I want all the dirt. The trial will something out. Carol said, now Judge Lyman to reply. I hope Judge Lyman does not, like, keep us from seeing the text messages from Ryan Reynolds. He's the one who chose to re-enter the chat. He's the one. C2353 said, good for you. Then when people fall asleep watching you. Hot Mess Mama Bear said, were they asking for them to seal? I mean, it was already sealed. I mean, at this point, it's already sealed. Lala said they are getting unsealed in January. I forget. Now everything's meshed. I mean, what was the sealed stuff for January? MSJ stuff, MJOP. Did it include sanction stuff? Carol, I don't know. And Excellence said it will be lovely in New York City in May. Okay, y'all. It's been 2 hours and it's been lovely. I'm heading out. And someone said, play the chair song. So I'm going to play the chair song. Carol said they have to seal December 19 and oppositions that filed by January 9th. And is that including the sanction stuff? Hot Mess Mama Bear said, I think it was a spoliation sealing. Axelin said, good night. Thank you. All right. So let me play Slammed to close out the night.
You said he yelled at me. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Goodbye, Mount Olympus 88. Thank you for joining me, Pamela 68.
On the director's chair next to me and walked away.
slammed his hands down. Stop, rewind, slam the chair. Stop, rewind, slam the chair to the ground. No just spoilation, MSJ and MJOP. So we could see these Ryan texts. Good night, Brown Eyes 114. Fun live as usual. Thanks. Isabella Marie, congrats again. Good night. Thank you. Thanks, Jax. We're doing slam his hands down. Stop. Rewind. Prickly, good night, everyone. Bocce, get some quality sleep. I'll try. Zane says, thank you, Bocce. I don't know how to get any chores done without you. Thank you. Thank you, Lala, for the gift.
You don't remember what he said in June, but you could do a play-by-play of what Jenny said and made. That's convenient.
Mount Olympus 88 said, title, Ryan is crashing and running. Lacey, good night. Good night, Jaded Ritual. Olympus the God says docket 1025 includes Ryan's for sealing. Oh. Nina, not sure when the next one will be. Probably sometime tomorrow. Night, Lala. Night, Drea. Thanks for the kind words. Oregon Rhythm Nation said, my toddler just started dancing to the song. Fun, catchy song. Yay! I love it when little kids dance to this. Isabella Marie said, oh, this is one of your songs, Bocce? It is. Legally Latina, good night. And may the force be with you all. Love it. And Nina said, got it. Have a good night. Loving the song. Thank you. All right. Lovely to see all of y'all. Thank you for spending time with me. Night.